early December 1941. The place, a tiny atoll somewhere in the Pacific, garrisoned by a handful of U.S. Marines and civilian workers. The recent arrival of 12 U.S. Marine Corps fighter aircraft has created a break in the monotony for the mechanics stationed there.
Well, there, that ought to take care of the problem. I sure wish we had more information on these new birds. This working by guess and by gosh is tough.
Well, at least it's something new to worry about, Bill. I'm sure getting sick of seagulls and surf. When I get this tour of duty over with, nobody'd ever better mention Wake Island to me again. I've never been so bored in my life.
Oh, now quit your griping, Ed. This is a quiet little atoll, and we got it made here. Nothing to get us in trouble, and no problems except trying to figure out these new Wildcat fighters.
Yeah, ain't they pretty? Sure are a change from the old two-wingers. Well, the CO says their support group will be here in a few days. They're bringing all the manuals on the F4F with them. Anyway, as peaceful as it is here, we've got nothing else to do with our time.
Yeah, it's peaceful enough, all right. It's getting so I wish anything exciting would happen. Anything to break the monotony.
They were to get their wish in spades. It was December 1941, and quickly following the news of Pearl Harbor came the first Japanese attack on Wake Island. 7 of the 12 new Grumman F4F Wildcat fighters were destroyed on the ground by the first low-level attack, leaving 5 of the barrel-shaped little fighters to bear the brunt of the onslaught to come. Through the valiant efforts of the defending forces and the heroic performance of the remaining planes and crew members from DMF-211, the cream of the Japanese Imperial Navy was held at bay for almost 2 weeks.
Fox 4, this is Fox 1. My Wildcat's hit. I'm going to try for a beach landing. I put a bomb right down the destroyer's stacks, but I'm not sure if it'll sink.
Roger, Captain Elrod. We've still got 3 Wildcats flying. We'll keep them busy till you get down. Good luck.
Roger, Fox 4. See you on the beach. Come on, Wildcat. Let's see if you can live up to your name and land on your feet.
And truly, the Wildcat did live up to its name. Aided by the magic of the ground crews, by cannibalizing parts from the wrecked aircraft, the brave mechanics managed to keep 3 Wildcats in flying condition right up to the end. The bitter end.
Well, there goes Fuller and Davidson. That's the last of the Wildcats. Looks like we're ground pounders now.
What do we do now, Captain Elrod?
What do we do? We get ourselves some rifles and join the Marine Defense Forces. Just because our aircraft are destroyed don't mean we stop fighting.
And fight they did. The struggle of the Wake Island defenders, aided by the Wildcats piloted by the brave men of VMF-211, has become a legend which will always be remembered. Outgunned, outclassed, by comparison already far inferior to the Japanese Zero fighter, the F4F Wildcat fighter did indeed live up to its namesake and managed to land on its feet time and time again until the last of its 9 lives was used up. And the Wildcat fought on. F4Fs from the carriers Enterprise and Lexington participated in airstrikes against Japanese bases in the Marshalls and the Gilbert Islands. In the hands of Naval and Marine Corps pilots such as Butch O'Hare, they were a formidable weapon indeed. Flying an F4F in one such encounter, Lieutenant O'Hare shot down 5 enemy Betty bombers in a matter of a few minutes. For this brave deed, Lieutenant O'Hare was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. The Battle of the Coral Sea in early May 1942 again saw the Wildcat in the thick of things. This was the first time in naval history that a sea battle was fought entirely in the air, without contact of surface vessels. Within 2 days, the Wildcats from the Lexington and the Yorktown disposed of 21 Japanese aircraft, with slight losses. This was the last significant action for the F4F-3. A later model, the F4F-4, equipped with folding wings, became operational. With the advent of the F4F-4 during the Battle of Midway, June 1942, also came a new fighter tactic, the thatch weave.
Pilot to gunner, you can relax now. Here comes our fighter escort. Glad to have him with us. Hey, Lieutenant Bendix. the devil are those fighter types doing up there? This is no time for tricky formation flying.
No, they're not goofing off. That's the Thatch Weave, a new fighter tactic. They say the CO of VF-3 from Yorktown thought it up. They named it after him. It's supposed to provide the answer to the Zero's maneuverability.
Invented by Commander John Thatch, the Thatch Weave was the first step towards a new concept in fighter tactics. Realizing that the Zero fighter had the Wildcat outclassed in both speed and maneuverability, the two-plane element and new tactics, such as the Weave, were originated, making greater use of the superior firepower and strength of the Wildcat. The crisscrossing pattern of the Weave in use became a familiar sight throughout the war. Dogfights were avoided whenever possible, depriving the Japanese of full effective use of their Zero.
With relatively few casualties, the Allied invasion of North Africa is proceeding according to plan, as reported by official sources. The British War Ministry reports that the Fleet Air Arm Martlet fighters, flying from the carrier HMS Illustrious, have been operating over the desert since the beginning of the campaign. Turning to the news at home, we have a report.
The Wildcat, known as the Martlet to the British, was not confined to the Pacific, but served throughout the world. Operating from the British carriers Illustrious, Archer, and Battler, the able little fighter served with great distinction in both the Atlantic and Mediterranean theaters. This, then, was the Wildcat. Until replaced by the Hellcat in 1943, the F4F gave a remarkable account of itself, despite formidable handicaps. Usually outclassed and outperformed by the fighters opposing her, the Wildcat fought in every major naval battle in the Pacific War, from Wake to the Solomons. Although by comparison she was inferior, she established a victory ratio of 6.9 to 1. That is, 6.9 enemy aircraft destroyed for every one Wildcat lost. Although supplanted by aircraft which were more potent fighters, none could lay claim to greater contributions to victory in the Pacific. Yes, the Navy will always remember with kindness the great Grumman F4F Wildcat fighters.